Well, I put children first by teaching and working with the whole child. I believe that if a child's physical needs, emotional needs are not met, then you can't reach those upper echelon kind of things, such as their psychological, their educational. So I always invest in my kids, to make sure they eat well, to make sure they get a good breakfast, to make sure they feel safe at home. We do a lot of discussions about our home life. I share a lot of my home life to let them know, that I was there once with them. And so I think by doing that, the kids feel more comfortable, they open up more. And once you reach that part of their needs, then you can take them academically where you need to take them. Every day that I go to school, I have a goal of motivating a child who feels like they're academically unsuccessful. I work with bilingual and transitional kids, and a lot of times they get a stigma that they're not smart or that they don't know a lot, and in reality, they either have a language barrier or they're feeling very unconfident about their ability to use their English in an English setting, an all English setting. So one of the things that I do, I take my time to sit with them, talk with them, let them know that I once was in their shoes, and I try to motivate them to let them know you are smart. It's part of the success. So if you're having trouble right now, that's okay, but keep striving, keep pushing forward, keep doing what I'm asking you to do, and eventually that success will come. Walker, who is a retired HISD teacher today, and I remember her pulling me to the side and saying, Darren, no matter what you look like, no matter what you sound like, no one can ever take what's in your head. So take this opportunity to put everything inside your brain. And then once you get to the level that you want to get to, no one can take that away from you.
Do you tell that to your kids?
Person. And it's all about the teacher-student relationship. So first, if your main goal is to educate our kids, then don't be afraid to be stern. Don't be afraid to provide structure. Don't be afraid to tell them when they're wrong. And what you'll find is kids love that. Kids love the structure. Kids love the sternness of a good educator telling them what's right and what's wrong. And I feel like if you do that, then your academic success will follow. Every HISD teacher is a parent at heart. You wear so many different hats. You're a parent, you're a counselor, you're a provider, you're all of those things. So, but as any good parent would do for their child, you want to make sure that your child is nurtured in a way that you would want your own personal children to be nurtured in. So just keep that in mind as you go through your day-to-day operations with students. Just treat them as you would want to be treated, as you would hope to be treated, as you would hope someone to treat your own children. And make sure that you take some time to talk to them. That is so important. Just treat them as you would want to be treated, as you would hope to be treated, as you would hope someone to treat your own. Have a conversation. You'd be amazingly surprised at how effective that is in getting the kids to open up. Because once you have them opened up, then you can take them to academic heights that you never dreamed of, and certainly they never dreamed of. Put kids first because they're our future. No good school, no good anything in society can survive without youth. Kids to believe that they hold the power, that they are the catalyst for change, then I think that kids will be so motivated to get educated and go out and have an impact. Again, I say I'm investing in the future. I tell my kids, sitting in this room today could be the future president, could be the future CEO, could be the future teacher of the year. Don't ever doubt that you have the power to change. And I think if we keep that in mind, we'll be motivated to know that we are contributing to the change we want to ultimately see in society. I just start focusing on the kids. And let me tell you, there's gonna be kids every day who do something that make you say, this is why I do what I do. And if you keep children first, I think you will never have a time when you don't feel like what I'm doing matters or have the energy to do what you do.
I feel like in a way it helps me build relationships with my students, and that for me is the most important thing above anything else. So by prioritizing those relationships with my kids, I already know going in, I want to make sure that they're feeling okay, that they're, they're doing well that morning or that afternoon that they walk into my class. And, if that's, in place, and that they feel comfortable with me, and they're, they feel comfortable, with the subject that I'm teaching, or they're getting to that point, then I know we're at a really, really great starting point, and, everything else is going to follow through. But if that relationship isn't there, then, that's such a crucial piece to teaching. And at that point, it's really difficult, to reach your students. So above anything else, relationship building is really important. I feel like in a way it helps me build relationships with my students, and that for me is the most important thing above anything else. So by prioritizing those relationships with my kids, I already know going in, I want to make sure that they're feeling okay, that they're, they're doing well that morning or that afternoon that they walk into my class. And, if that's, in place, and that they feel comfortable with me, and they're, they feel comfortable, with the subject that I'm teaching, or they're getting to that point, then I know we're at a really, really great starting point, and, everything else is going to follow through. But if that relationship isn't there, then, that's such a crucial piece to teaching. And at that point, it's really difficult, to reach your students. So above anything else, relationship building is really important. Do this. Is it going to come in little pieces? It's going to have to come in little pieces sometimes. Am I going to struggle? Yes, I'm going to struggle, but the struggle is part of the process. So watching that change in my students, honestly, I feel like that's one of the reasons that pushes me to stay in this field, and, just watching them grow, and not just academically, but as people. Just seeing that, day in and day out, that gradual change. It's just mesmerizing, honestly. And the year telling my kids, our goal is that 100% of you guys are going to pass. And, 100% of you guys are going to gain mastery of what you're learning. And I still remember this past year, I had one class period look at me and they just bursted out laughing. And I'm like, why are you not even at me, you're laughing at yourselves. Like, that's just really sad. I barely got you. It's barely day one, day two, and I already know you guys can do it. Now I just need you guys to get on board with me. And they're like, okay, we're gonna believe you. We're gonna try this out. And I'm like, okay. And then they start seeing their growth. They start seeing that gradual change over time. And, going from maybe getting a couple problems right to getting more right. And then them seeing, progress and mastery for like the first time. For me, it's really exciting, but then at the same time, I'm really sad because I really wish they've experienced, like seeing my students grow in some shape or form. That's really what it's all about. There's two things we control in the classroom: the work we design for our students and the relationships we build with them. So, if we keep those two things our priorities, and, we focus on getting to know our students in a genuine manner, supporting them in what they're doing in their classroom, or going to their sporting events or fine art events outside of the classroom, and, focusing on the work that we're providing for them, actually thinking about their interests and like the rigor levels that are appropriate for them, and, scaffolding it appropriately, then everything else is going to fall into place. I know when I first started teaching, I had in mind, what a traditional teacher looked like, and what I thought I should have been, and, what I should look like, and how I should speak and carry myself. But my first group of students, they saw right through it. If you're not being genuine, your students are, they're going to call you out on it, especially me. I work with middle schoolers, so they see through things pretty quickly. And, there's something very powerful about you owning, who you are, and owning your personality, and, just being yourself in front of the students, because they learn from somebody they like. And they'll like somebody that's genuine and, isn't afraid to be themselves and isn't afraid to make mistakes in front of them. They'll respect you for it. We're also teaching our students how to, be, community members and, citizens of our global society. And, if we're not teaching them, empathy and compassion, what are we really teaching them at the end of the day? Be able to be an effective teacher, you need to put children first. You need to put their needs first, whether they're academic, emotional, social, mental. That you need to make sure, their needs are always at the forefront of what you're doing. It's constantly asking yourself, is this what's best for kids, or is this what's easiest for adults? And, it's always making sure that you're picking the solution that's the best for kids, because at the end of the day, they're our priority, their well-being is our priority, and their growth is our priority. So we want to make sure that, we're always putting children first.